I pushed open the front door at 4:17 p.m., arms full of roses and that stupid chocolate cake Sarah loved from the little bakery downtown. 5 years today. I was grinning like an idiot, already picturing her face when I yelled, "Surprise," a few hours early. The house was quiet. Too quiet. On the kitchen island sat a neat stack of papers and a black pen laid perfectly across the top. Even from the doorway I recognized the blue cover sheet. Petition for dissolution of marriage. My name was typed in bold under Respondent. Her signature was already scrawled at the bottom, Sarah E. Thompson, in that looping cursive she practiced for weeks before the wedding. The roses slipped from my fingers and hit the tile with a wet thud. "Hey babe, you're home early." I turned. Sarah stood in the archway, arms crossed, wearing the red dress she only pulled out for date nights. Except her smile wasn't warm. It was sharp, practiced, like she'd rehearsed it in the mirror. "Happy anniversary," I managed, voice cracking on the last syllable. She glanced at the ruined roses, then back at the papers. "Perfect timing, actually. Saves me the trouble of tracking you down to sign." I stared at her. This is a joke, right? Some weird roleplay thing you read about online." She laughed, actually laughed, and stepped closer, heels clicking. "Gunno. I've been unhappy for years, David. Years. You just never noticed because you were too busy playing the perfect husband at your perfect little job." "Unhappy?" My chest felt like someone had parked a truck on it. "Sarah, talk to me. We can fix. There's no anymore." She picked up the pen and held it out. "Sign. It's clean. I keep the house, the Audi, and you'll pay alimony for 5 years. Fair, considering how much you make now." Fair. The word tasted like rust. "You're taking everything?" "I deserve everything." She tilted her head, eyes glittering. "I wasted the best years of my life on you. And honestly, I've already found someone who actually excites me." The room tilted. "Who?" She smiled wider, savoring it. "Mike. My best friend since college. The guy who was supposed to be my best man but got food poisoning the night before the wedding. The guy who crashed on our couch last month after his breakup. You're sleeping with Mike?" It wasn't a question. "Among other things," she said, voice dripping honey. "He listens. He makes me laugh. He fucks me like you never could." The words hit harder than any punch. I grabbed the edge of the island to stay upright. "Sarah, please." "Please what? Stay? Pretend the last 2 years of dead bedroom bullshit didn't happen." She stepped so close I could smell her perfume, the one Mike probably bought her. "Sign the papers, David, or I'll make this ugly. I have texts, photos, videos. You don't want your family seeing what a pathetic lover you turned out to be." I couldn't breathe. "You recorded us?" She rolled her eyes. "Not us, genius. But I'm sure your mom would love to know her precious son couldn't keep his wife satisfied." Something inside me snapped. Not loud, not dramatic. Just a quiet, cold break. I took the pen. "That's a good boy," she cooed. I signed. Every page. My hand didn't even shake. She checked the signatures, satisfied. "Great. I'll have my lawyer file tomorrow. You can sleep in the guest room tonight. Or the couch. I don't really care." She turned to leave, then paused. "Oh, and happy anniversary." I stood there until I heard the shower start upstairs. The water running. Her humming some pop song like nothing had happened. My legs carried me to the bedroom on autopilot. Her phone sat charging on the nightstand, face down. Same passcode as always, our wedding date. Of course. I swiped open messages. Pinned at the top, Mike Redheart. I scrolled. 6 months. 6 fucking months of, "I can't wait to feel you again," and "He's asleep, come over," and "Tell him you're at yoga." Photos. Dozens. Her in lingerie I'd never seen. Her on her knees. Her bent over our kitchen island, the same one I just signed my life away on. My stomach lurched, but I kept scrolling. Videos. Moans I didn't recognize. His voice calling her baby. I forwarded everything to the secret email I used for fantasy football cheat sheets. Then to a hidden folder on my cloud drive. Then I triple-checked it uploaded. I cleared the recently forwarded banner, locked the phone, set it back exactly where it was. The shower shut off. I walked downstairs, poured myself a whiskey, and sat on the couch like a statue. She came down 20 minutes later in yoga pants and one of Mike's hoodies, because of course it was his. "You okay?" she asked, fake concern dripping. I looked up and smiled. It felt foreign on my face. "Fine," I said calmly. "You'll get your divorce." Her eyes narrowed, suspicious, but she shrugged. "Good. Less drama that way." She grabbed her keys, the Audi keys, and headed for the door. "Tell Mike happy anniversary for me," I called. She froze for half a second, then laughed. "Will do." The door shut. The engine roared to life outside. I sat in the dark living room, whiskey burning my throat, staring at the divorce papers still on the island. Something dark stirred behind my ribs. Not pain anymore. Purpose. I wiped my eyes with the sleeve of my hoodie as Sarah breeled through the front door, her cheeks flushed from the November cold, or maybe from something else. She barely glanced at me slumped on the couch. "Hey," she said, kicking off her boots. "You're home early." "Couldn't focus at work," I muttered, letting my voice crack exactly the way she liked. "I miss you so much it hurts." She sighed, the sound half pity, half triumph. "Baby, we talked about this. I need space right now. It's not you, it's me," I finished for her, dropping my head into my hands. "I know. I'm trying to be better." Footsteps on the porch. The doorbell. Sarah's eyes flicked toward it, then back to me, calculating. "That's Mike," she said softly, like she was breaking bad news to a child. "He's just dropping off some paperwork from the lawyer." I nodded, sniffling. But I'll go upstairs." "No, stay." She touched my shoulder, her fingers light, possessive. "It'll be good for you to see we're keeping this civil." The door opened before I could answer. Mike filled the frame, tall, gym-built, wearing that smug little smile he always had when he thought no one was watching. "Hey man," he said, voice dripping fake sympathy. "How you holding up?" I shrugged, letting fresh tears well up on cue. "Not great." Sarah stepped between us, taking the manila folder from Mike's hand. Their fingers brushed longer than necessary. "Thanks for bringing this over," she told him. "Want to come in for a minute? It's freezing out there." Mike glanced at me. "You sure? I don't want to intrude." I waved a weak hand. "It's fine. Really. She's still my wife." Sarah smiled at that, like I just handed her a gift. They moved to the couch, the same couch where we used to watch movies curled up together. Now Mike sat exactly where I used to, his arms stretching along the backrest, inches from her shoulders. I stayed standing, shifting my weight, the perfect picture of broken. "So," Mike said, opening the folder, "these are the updated asset division pages." Sarah asked me to walk her through them. I nodded dumbly. Sarah leaned in, pointing at the paper. "See, here it says the house stays with me because I'm the primary breadwinner now. That's fair, right, honey?" My throat tightened for real this time, but I forced the tears harder. "Yeah. Whatever you need." Mike's hand settled on her knee. Not subtle. Not even trying. "You're being so good about this," Sarah cooed. "Mom was worried you'd fight me on everything." "I just want you to be happy," I whispered. She turned to Mike, eyes sparkling. "See? Told you he'd sign anything." Mike chuckled. "Guy's a saint." I let out a broken little laugh that sounded like a sob. "Guess I am." Sarah stood, smoothing her skirt. "I'm going to make coffee. You two, talk or whatever." She disappeared into the kitchen. Mike watched her go, then looked at me with something close to pity. "She's glowing, man," he said quietly. "Never seen her like this." I wiped my nose. "Good. That's good. You'll find someone else," he offered. "Maybe." Sarah came back with 2 mugs, only 2, and handed one to Mike. She didn't even glance at me. I shuffled toward the stairs. "I'll give you guys privacy." "No, stay," Sarah said again, sharper this time. "Mike's leaving in a minute anyway." But he didn't leave. They talked for 43 minutes. I counted every one on the grandfather clock. About the settlement, about her new apartment she hadn't told me she was looking at, about how much easier life would be once the papers were signed. When Mike finally stood, he pulled Sarah into a hug right in front of me. Not a friendly one. She melted against him, her hands sliding under his jacket. I looked away, letting them think I couldn't bear to watch. "Take care, buddy," Mike said over her shoulder. "Yeah," I croaked. "You too." The door closed behind him. Sarah turned to me, eyes soft with victory. "You okay?" she asked. I shook my head, tears spilling exactly on schedule. I love you so much." She cupped my cheek. "I know, sweetie. This is hard for everyone." Her phone buzzed on the coffee table. She glanced at the screen, his name, heart emojis, and smiled before silencing it. "I have to take this," she said. "Go lie down. I'll check on you later." I nodded and trudged upstairs, closing the bedroom door softly behind me. Only then did I let the mask slip. Downstairs, I heard her voice, low and laughing. "He's fine. Cried the whole time like a little bitch. God, it's pathetic." I opened my laptop, fingers steady now. The cheap camera I'd hidden inside the fake smoke detector blinked its tiny red light, recording every second. I hit save on the new file, living_room_11-21-2025. Then I opened the folder labeled Evidence and dropped it in with the others. Hotel receipts from the envelope in her gym bag, screenshots of texts where she called me spineless, the voice note from last week where she laughed about how easy this was. My tears were gone. In their place was something sharp and cold and patient. I closed the laptop, lay back on the bed, and waited for her to come upstairs and pretend to comfort me. 2 more weeks, I thought. Just 2 more weeks of playing the perfect broken husband. Then she'd learn what broken really meant. Sarah's text came while I was staring at the ceiling, pretending the bed still felt like mine. "Family dinner tonight at Mom and Dad's. 7 p.m. Mike's coming as my friend who's helping me through this. Please don't make it weird." I typed back the only thing a good soon-to-be ex could type. "Of course, I'll be there." I arrived 10 minutes early, the way I always had. Mom opened the door, arms already out, eyes wet. "Oh, honey," she said, pulling me in. "Come here. We've been so worried about you." Over her shoulder, I saw Sarah on the couch, legs tucked under her, Mike's arm draped casually along the backrest like he belonged there. He lifted a hand in greeting. "Hey, man," he said, easy smile. "Good to see you." "Yeah," I managed. "You too." Dad clapped me on the back as Mom finally let go. "Let's eat. Food'll fix at least something tonight." We took our usual seats, except nothing was usual. Sarah sat where she always sat, right side of the table. Mike took the chair next to her that used to be empty or mine when we fought. I ended up across from them, the sympathy seat. Mom passed the lasagna. "Sarah tells us you two are trying to keep things civil. That's mature. Really mature." Sarah gave a brave little smile. "We're doing our best, Mom." Mike nodded, fork already moving. "She's been incredible, honestly. Strongest person I know." Dad reached for the garlic bread. "That's our girl." Under the table, I felt it before I saw it. Mike's hand sliding onto Sarah's knee, thumb tracing slow circles through her jeans. She didn't flinch. She leaned into him just enough. Mom looked at me, voice soft. "How are you holding up, sweetheart?" I swallowed. "Day by day." "That's all any of us can do," Dad said. Then quieter, "Sometimes marriages just run their course." Sarah's eyes flicked to me, shining with practiced tears. "I really did try everything, you know. Counseling, date nights, begging him to open up more. I fought so hard." Mike squeezed her leg. "You did. Everyone sees that." I smiled the way broken men are supposed to smile, small, defeated eyes on the plate. Mom reached across and patted my hand. "You'll be okay. You both will." After dessert, Dad caught me in the hallway by the bathroom. "Son," he said, hand heavy on my shoulder. "Walk with me a second." We stepped onto the porch. Cold air hit my face like a slap I needed. He lit a cigarette he wasn't supposed to have anymore. "I've been married 38 years. Sometimes you love someone and it's..." He exhaled smoke toward the dark. "Sarah's hurting. Mike's helping her through it. Be the bigger man here." Let her have some peace. I will, I said. Back inside, hugs goodbye. Sarah kissed Mom's cheek. Mike shook Dad's hand like a son-in-law already. In the driveway, Sarah caught my sleeve before I reached my car. See, she whispered, breath warm against my ear. Even Dad knows you're the one who couldn't let go. I looked at her, really looked. The porch light caught the triumph in her eyes. Maybe, I said. Drive safe. The house was silent when I got home. I opened the laptop, dragged the last folder into the master PDF, hit save. The truth about Sarah and Mike, final.pdf. 40 pages. Hotel receipts time-stamped during our date nights. Screenshots of her telling him she'd never loved anyone like this. The photo of them asleep in our bed, my pillow under his head. The 7-second clip from the nanny cam, her moaning his name the night she told me she was at Jenna's. I added a cover page. Simple black font. For everyone who needs to know why the marriage ended. I stared at the file icon until the screen dimmed. I didn't feel rage anymore. I didn't feel pain. I felt the calm of a man who has nothing left to lose and one thing left to do. Tomorrow it goes out. I sat in the stiff leather chair across from Mr. Harlan's desk, the pen heavy in my hand like it weighed 50 pounds. Sarah was already glowing, cheeks pink, hair perfect, wearing the navy dress I used to love because it made her look like the girl I married. Only now it made her look like someone else's wife. Mr. Harlan slid the final papers toward me. Last page, Mr. Thompson. Initial here, sign there. Sarah leaned forward, voice soft and syrupy. Are you sure you don't want to read it one more time, honey? I'd hate for you to feel rushed. I didn't look up. I read it the first 6 times you sent it over. I know what it says. She gave a tiny laugh, the one that used to mean she was nervous but now just meant she'd won. I'm only trying to be fair. Fair, I repeated, tasting the word. I initialed. I signed. The pen scratched like it was carving my name off everything I'd built. Mr. Harlan cleared his throat. That's it. The decree is effective immediately. Mrs. Thompson, sorry Ms. Carter soon, will take possession of the residence, the joint accounts, the Lexus. And my old Camry, Sarah added quickly, smiling at the lawyer like they were old friends. Mike's picking me up in it today. Saves me a trip. The lawyer's eyes flicked to me, soft with pity. I hated that look more than anything. I stood up. Sarah stood too, smoothing her dress. Walk me out. I shrugged. Why not? One last performance. In the hallway she touched my arm, gentle, practiced. I know this is hard. I really do. But we both deserve to be happy, right? I looked at her hand on my sleeve. The wedding ring was already gone, replaced by the bigger diamond Mike had given her last month. Right? I said. She pulled me into a hug, the kind that smelled like her new vanilla perfume in victory. Take care of yourself, okay? Oh, I hope you find happiness someday. I hugged her back, just hard enough that she felt it. Then I whispered against her ear, calm and clear. I already did. She pulled away, frowning a little, like she wasn't sure she heard right. What? Nothing. I smiled, the first real one all morning. Enjoy the house, Sarah. Mike was leaning against my faded blue Camry in the parking lot, arms crossed, grinning like he'd just won the lottery. When he saw us he straightened, opened the passenger door for her like a gentleman. Sarah waved at me, bright and final. Bye, sweetie. I lifted my hand. See you around. They drove off, my old car rattling down the street toward the house that still had my toolbox in the garage and my grandmother's plates in the cupboard. I walked 3 blocks to the bus stop, got off near the motel I'd been calling home for 6 weeks, and climbed the outdoor stairs to room 212. The bed was unmade, the mini fridge hummed, and my laptop sat open exactly where I'd left it. The email was already written. I'd worked on it for weeks, saving screenshots, scanning documents, copying text threads she thought she'd deleted. Everything in order, polite but thorough. No screaming, no insults, just facts, dates, receipts, and one very clear timeline of how long she'd been sleeping with my best friend before she asked for the trial separation. Recipients: Mom and Dad Carter, Emma, Aunt Linda, Aunt Ruth, the cousins group chat that still had me muted, and Mrs. Delgado from the church youth group who'd once told me I was such a blessing to Sarah. Subject line: before you welcome Mike into the family, please read this. I read it one last time. 8 pages of quiet, surgical truth. My finger hovered over the trackpad. I thought of Sarah laughing in my old kitchen tonight, popping champagne with Mike while her parents called to congratulate them on the fresh start. I thought of the way she'd said, "I hope you find happiness someday," like I was the broken one. I clicked send. The whoosh sound was soft, almost nothing. I closed the laptop, lay back on the lumpy mattress, and for the first time in a year I didn't feel hollow. I felt free. I woke to my phone vibrating itself off the nightstand like it was possessed. The screen was a war zone, 187 missed calls, all from Sarah, and a string of texts that started with, "Please pick up," and ended with, "I will burn your entire life to the ground, you sick fuck." Before I could even sit up, an unknown number rang. I answered. "Is this the bastard who sent those pictures?" Mr. Harrison's voice cracked like a whip, raw and shaking. I'd never heard him raise it above a polite golf club volume before. "Mr. Harrison, my wife is in the hospital," he roared. Sobs swallowed the rest. Chest pains, the doctor said stress, she saw, God, she saw everything. "How could you do this to my little girl?" I pressed the phone harder against my ear, staring at the ceiling. "She did it to herself, sir. Every frame." "You're proud of it?" he choked. "You're proud of destroying a family?" "I'm not proud," I said, voice flat. "I'm done protecting her." He kept screaming, something about lawsuits, about God, about me rotting in hell, but I just listened until the line went quiet except for his broken breathing. Then he hung up. The phone rang again immediately. "Sarah." I let it go to voicemail. Fin. Another unknown number. I picked up this time. "You absolute piece of shit," Sarah hissed, tears clogging every word. "Pick up your fucking phone. You're dead," she whispered. "You hear me? I'm going to the police, I'm suing you, Go ahead," I cut in. "Tell them how you fucked my best friend for 8 months and laughed about it on video. I'm sure they'll love the director's cut." She screamed, actually screamed, then the line went dead. A text from Emma popped up a second later, private message, no profile picture. "Emma, I always knew something was off with the way she talked about you. Thank you for showing us who she really is. Mom's stable, by the way. Dad won't stop crying. Take care of yourself." I stared at the words until they blurred. Then I typed back, "Me, I'm sorry you all had to see it that way. Emma, don't be. We needed to." My phone buzzed again. "Of course. Mike, meet me outside. We're handling this like men." I almost laughed. "Me, ask your wife what she thinks about handling it." "Mike, what the fuck does that mean?" No reply from me. 30 seconds later he's calling. I decline. Another call. Decline. Then a text. "Mike, dude, whatever you think you have, delete it. I'm begging you." Me, too late. "Your wife's watching it right now. Anonymous friend, hit send 5 minutes ago. Enjoy the popcorn." The 3 dots appeared, vanished, appeared again. Nothing came through. Then a single message. "I'm out." That was it. No more tough guy, no more threats. Just gone. Sarah called again, 214 missed now. I watched the screen light up, her name pulsing like a dying heartbeat. I finally answered. "You won," she sobbed before I could speak. "Happy? You won. My mom might have a heart attack because of you. Your mom's in the hospital because you couldn't keep your legs closed while I paid for everything," I said quietly. "Don't put that on me." "I hate you," she whispered. "You hated me the whole time you were moaning his name, Sarah. Spare me the performance." Silence. Then the soft click as she hung up. I dropped the phone on the bed and stared at the ceiling again. The storm was here, louder than I ever imagined, but for the first time in years the air in the room felt breathable. My phone finally went dark. I didn't charge it. I stood in the cereal aisle of the Save Mart, pretending to read the nutrition label on a box of Frosted Flakes, when I heard the familiar squeak of worn-out sneakers on linoleum. My pulse quickened. I'd been coming here every evening for 2 weeks, timing it to the end of the night shift at the Shell station 2 blocks over. Tonight she finally showed. Sarah shuffled past the end cap display, a single plastic basket swinging from her wrist. No makeup. Hair twisted into a knot that looked like it hadn't seen a brush in days. The roots were growing out dark, the blonde dye fading into a sickly yellow. Her cashier's vest, bright red with the Shell logo, was balled up under one arm like she was ashamed of it. She stopped dead when she saw me. For a second neither of us moved. Her eyes, those same green eyes that once sparkled when she told the judge I was abusive, were flat, bloodshot, empty. Alex. Her voice cracked on my name. I set the cereal box back on the shelf. Slowly. Deliberately. Sarah. She glanced around like someone might rescue her, then took a hesitant step closer. Please. I need to talk to you. Talk? I raised an eyebrow. We're talking. No, I mean, she lowered her voice, hugging the basket to her chest like a shield. Can we go somewhere? Just 5 minutes. Please. I let the silence stretch until she started trembling. We're fine right here. Her lip quivered. They took the house, Alex. Dad changed the locks the same week the judge signed it over to me. Said a liar doesn't deserve a family home. Imagine that, I said softly. Mom won't take my calls. My sister blocked me on everything. Even Aunt Linda, she sent me an invoice. An actual invoice, for every Christmas and birthday check since I was 6. With interest. A tear slipped down her cheek, carving a clean line through the grime. They're saying I have to pay it back or they'll sue. I didn't blink. Sounds expensive. I had to sell the house. Your house. My lawyer took half just to fight them off, and it still wasn't enough. She laughed, but it came out wet and broken. Do you know what I do now? I pump gas. Midnight to 8. People scream at me because the card reader's slow. Last night a guy threw a Slurpee at me because I wouldn't sell him beer after 2. I tilted my head. You wanted freedom, Sarah. This is it. She dropped the basket. A loaf of off-brand bread and a single can of tuna rolled across the floor. I made it up, she whispered, bending to pick them up with shaking hands. All of it. The bruises, the texts, everything. I was angry and stupid and, please, Alex. Please just tell them it wasn't real. Tell them I lied. They'll listen to you. You were always the good one. I crouched down so we were eye level. She smelled like gasoline and desperation. Look at me, I said. She did. You sat in that courtroom and cried, I said, voice low. You told the judge I put my hands on you. You showed them those fake bruises and read those messages you wrote to yourself on a burner phone. You smiled when they gave you my house, my dog, half my savings. You wanted to be free of me that badly? I was scared, she sobbed. I thought. You thought you'd win and walk away clean. You thought consequences only happened to people like me. I stood up. You wanted your freedom, Sarah. Enjoy it. I stepped around her. Alex, wait. I kept walking. Please. Her voice rose, desperate, echoing off the empty aisles. I have nowhere to go. I sleep in my car. I'm begging you. I paused at the end of the aisle and glanced back. She was on her knees now, clutching that dented can of tuna like it was the last thing anchoring her to the world. For the first time in months, I felt something lift off my chest. Not joy, something sharper, cleaner. I smiled. Then I turned the corner and left her there on the dirty floor, crying into a basket of cheap groceries she probably couldn't afford. I was sprawled on the couch, half watching some mindless action movie, when the pounding started on my door. It was after midnight, the kind of frantic knocking that screams trouble. I muted the TV, heart already picking up speed, and peered through the peephole. Sarah. My ex swaying on the doorstep, mascara streaked down her cheeks, hair a tangled mess, reeking of cheap wine even through the door. I cracked it open just enough to see her face. What the hell are you doing here, Sarah? She looked up at me with those big, wet eyes she used to weaponize so well. Baby, please, let me in. I made a mistake. The biggest, anything. I repeated, voice flat. She nodded frantically, tears dripping onto the concrete. Anything. I miss you so much it hurts. I can't sleep, I can't eat, every night I just cry thinking about how I threw us away. I crouched a little so we were eye level, keeping the phone angle just right. Tell me again why you did it, Sarah. Tell me exactly why you destroyed everything we had. She swallowed hard, hands twisting in my shirt. I felt stuck. You were always working late, and Mike was there, telling me I deserved more attention, more excitement. I got scared we were turning into some boring old couple before 30. It was stupid, it was selfish, I know that now. Scared. I cut in. You planned it for a year, Sarah. A whole year of lying to my face every single day. Her mouth opened, closed. The color drained from her cheeks. How did you? You told me yourself, I said softly. 6 months ago, the night you moved out. You were drunk then too. Said you'd been laughing with Mike about how easy I was, how I never suspected a thing. How you two had it all figured out. New apartment, new life, fresh start on my dime. I pulled up the old voice memo on my phone, the one I'd kept like a loaded gun, and hit play. Her own voice filled the hallway, slurred and cruel. God, he's so clueless. A whole year and he never noticed. Mike and I used to crack up about it. Poor dumb faithful boyfriend, still paying for everything while we plan our future. The recording ended. Sarah stared at the phone like it was a snake. That was you, I said. Your words. Your laugh in the background with him. She started shaking her head, over and over. I didn't mean it. I was angry, I was trying to hurt you because you wouldn't fight for me. I did fight for you, I said, standing up straight. For 8 years I fought. And you spat on every second of it. She reached for my leg again, fingers clawing. Please don't do this. I'm begging you. I'll leave him tomorrow, I'll tell everyone what a mistake I made, I stepped back, opening the door all the way so the hallway light spilled over her pathetic, kneeling form. Get up, I said. Hope flashed across her face. She scrambled to her feet, swaying. I looked her dead in the eyes. Get out. We're done. For good. The words hung there, cold and final. Her face crumpled. You don't mean that. I've never meant anything more. I shut the door, locked it, deadbolted it, leaned my back against the wood while she screamed my name and pounded until her voice gave out. Then I opened the family group chat, the one that had blown up for weeks defending her, calling me bitter, telling me to forgive. I attached the new video. The whole thing. Her on her knees, drunk and desperate, confessing everything. Caption, for anyone still wondering whose side to pick. I hit send. My phone stayed silent. No typing bubbles. No frantic calls from her mom. No texts from cousins saying I was being cruel. Nothing. For the first time in a year, the silence felt like peace. Chapter 8. My new beginning. I leaned back in my new office chair, the city skyline stretching out beyond the glass wall like it belonged to me now. The promotion letter still sat open on my desk, senior project manager, effective immediately, with a corner office on the 28th floor. 6 months. That's all it took to crawl out of the grave Sarah dug for me. My phone buzzed. A text from Elena. Celebratory dinner's still on? I made reservations at that rooftop place you love. Wear the blue shirt that makes me stupid. I smiled, thumbs already moving. Wouldn't miss it. Blue shirt deployed. Love you. Love you more, she fired back instantly. The intercom crackled. Mr. Khan? There's a letter here for you. No return address, but it's personal, the receptionist said. I frowned. Send it up. When the envelope slid under my door, I recognized the handwriting immediately. Sarah. My stomach didn't even twist anymore. Just a dull recognition, like spotting an old scar. I slid it open with my letter opener. Dear Jaylees, I'm writing this from a Motel 6 off the interstate. The neon sign flickers through the curtains and the ice machine sounds like it's dying. I lost the apartment. Mike took everything, our savings, the car, even my grandmother's ring, and flew to Thailand last month. He left a note that said, you were always someone else's problem. I laughed for 10 minutes when I read it. Then I cried for 3 days. I got fired. They found the videos on my work laptop. The same ones I thought I'd deleted. HR called me a liability. My dad won't take my calls. Mom just cries. I have $47 and a bus pass. I know what I did to you was unforgivable. I know I don't deserve your mercy. But I'm so scared, Jaylees. I'm so sorry. I was cruel because I was scared of being ordinary. You offered me ordinary love and I spat in your face for excitement. Please, if you have any kindness left. I stopped reading. The paper trembled slightly in my hand, but my heart was steady. I walked to the balcony door, slid it open, and stepped into the cold November air. The city hummed 30 floors below. I pulled the silver lighter Elena gave me for my birthday, engraved with, "To the man who rose from ashes," and flicked it open. The flame caught the corner of Sarah's letter instantly. I watched the words curl and blacken. I'm so sorry, the fire ate first. Please, next. Then her signature, that looping S she used to practice while we watched movies on my couch. I held it until the heat kissed my fingers, then let the last fragment drift over the railing, a black snowflake swallowed by the wind. My phone rang. Elena. Hey, beautiful, I answered, voice calm. You okay? You sound different. I just burned the past, I said. Literally. The pause. Sarah? Yeah. You want to talk about it tonight? No, I said, smiling at the skyline. I want to talk about Italy. About that house in Tuscany we keep bookmarking. About the ring I've been hiding in my sock drawer for 3 weeks. She laughed, the sound bright and unafraid. You're really doing this? I'm really doing this. The boy who begged her to stay? He died the day I signed those divorce papers. The man who gave her exactly what she wanted, freedom from me, he's done paying for her choices. I'm proud of you, she whispered. I'm proud of me too, I said, and meant it for the first time in years. Another call beeped in. A known number. I almost ignored it, but something made me switch lines. Hello. A throat cleared. Jaylees. It's Mr. Ramon. Sarah's father. I waited. No anger. No fear. Just curiosity. I owe you an apology, he said, voice cracking. I said terrible things. Called you weak. Spineless. But you saved my daughter from worse shame. If you'd fought dirtier, if you'd exposed everything, her life would be over. Reputation matters in our circles. You took the blame quietly. Like a man. I was wrong about you. I watched smoke from a distant chimney twist into the sky. Thank you for calling, I said. That's all. That's all I have for you, sir. Take care of yourself. I hung up before he could respond. Back inside, I opened my laptop and booked 2 tickets to Rome for spring. Non refundable. A promise. Elena texted again. Blue shirt guy, better hurry. I'm wearing that red dress, you can't keep your hands off. On my way, I typed, grabbing my coat. As I locked the office door, I caught my reflection in the glass. Taller somehow, shoulders squared, eyes clear. The boy who once knelt in our kitchen, tears streaming, begging, please don't leave me, I'll be better, I'll be whatever you need. That boy was ashes now. The man walking toward the elevator, toward Elena, toward a life I actually wanted? He was finally, completely free.